All right, folks, in this third video, we're going to see how to use ray diagrams to draw the image of an object produced by a convex mirror. So here we know there's a convex mirror because the object is in front of the side that curves outwards. And here we see that the center is on the non-reflected side of the mirror. Okay, so normally I'll ask you to find the image using two ray diagrams, but I'll do all three of the easy ray diagrams to find my image, just so that we see all three of them here. So as before, the first thing we have to do is determine our focal point, okay, which is again half the distance from the center. So here's 16, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 point. This looks to be about 4.3, 4.35, so it'll be just under 2.2. So 1, 2, so it'll be somewhere right there. Okay, this is my center, this is my focal point. Okay, and similar to when we were working with concave mirrors, we have three easy rays that we can use to determine where they intersect. Okay, so again, two of them involve the focal point, so I'll start with those. Okay, so I know that if I draw a ray parallel to the principal axis. Okay, and again here I'll try to use the line of the ruler to try to draw a nice parallel line. There we go. So when we had an incident ray that was coming in parallel to the principal axis with a concave mirror, it went through the focal point. Here it obviously can't go through the focal point, so the reflection will come from the focal point. Okay, so the reflection will look as though it's coming from the focal point. Okay, so here let's draw a nice thin line. So this is what the reflected ray will look like. Okay, and it looks as though it's coming from the focal point on the other side of the mirror. Okay, now let's try the other ray that has to do with the focal point. Okay, so we can't have a ray that goes through the focal point, but we can have a ray that goes toward the focal point. Okay, so here we have a ray that goes toward the focal point. Okay, there's our incident ray, and anything that goes towards the focal point will reflect straight out parallel to the principal axis. Okay, so let's try to draw something nice parallel to the principal axis. So there's our reflected ray, but we know that this ray might appear as though it's coming from behind the mirror. So I'm going to extend that line. So here's the actual reflected ray, but it might appear as though it's coming from behind. Okay, so here already we see that we've got our point of intersection, so that would be enough. But let's draw the third one. So again, we can't have a ray that goes through or from the center, but we can have a ray that goes toward the center. Okay, so if we draw the ray towards the center, okay, that's going to just reflect right back out. But it might appear as though it's coming from behind the mirror. And we see here that all three rays intersect at the same point, but behind the mirror. So this means that it's a virtual image, as expected. Okay, the image is going to be smaller than our object, as expected, and it's going to be between the mirror and the focal point, as expected. So we can draw our image here. Here's our little candle. Okay, so again, if we look at the salt characteristics, got size is smaller, attitude is the same, location is behind the mirror, not further than the focal point, and the type of image, since it's on the other side of the mirror, it's a virtual image. These are not actual light rays that are intersecting, but they just appear to intersect behind the mirror. Okay, and that's it for this one. So this should cover all the